Hello and welcome to the NCHS Ink Spot, Normal Community's award-winning student publication. My name is Andrew Nair. I'm joined with my co-host Brady Phelps and Ironmen football head coach Mr. Jason Drengwitz. Coach, before we talk about Week 8, let's take a look back at your 41-0 win against Danville. Can you talk about that dominant first half that you guys had?
Yeah, for sure. I think it went back to that we had a really good week of practice and our prep was good Monday through Thursday. You know, you got to find ways to have a consistent approach no matter who you play, when you play and where you're playing. I thought we had a good week. I thought our approach on the bus ride over there was really, really good. And really from the jump, it started with a really good kick return. We scored really on every possession except one defensively. We held them to under 15 yards. 15 yards from the total game. That really a credit to our kids buying into the game plan, being locked in, played really hard and executing it. And, I feel like they were focused. It was a really important game because it was really kind of our first road game in a long time. And it was a conference game on the road against Danville, opponent that we have a ton of respect for. So happy with how we played. We still made some mistakes. I think things that we got to clean up in all three phases, but I think we can get that.
As for Bloomington, you said you weren't completely satisfied, obviously, but noting kickoff issues and busted coverages last week, did you see any of that cleaned up this week?
I thought, defensively, coverages were cleaned up. Now, I would also say that probably with what Danville was doing offensively wasn't as challenging scheme-wise as that we had seen in the week before. I thought our kickoff coverage was better, but it still leaves a lot to be desired. I still think we got to get better, to be really good teams, this week and beyond. You have to be able to cover kicks at a high level, and we're constantly trying to get better. Yesterday was our kickoff team work day. I thought we had a good day of working on that, so hopefully we'll see that, show up on the game on Friday night.
You guys often script a run-heavy start. It was majority pass against Danville. Can you talk about why you guys did that?
I wouldn't say that we script typically a run-heavy start. I just feel like so we script our first 12, and it's probably pretty equal run-pass, but then you get off that script based on down and distance position, but the other you're on the goal line. I think we feel comfortable throwing the ball with Lucas to our guys out wide, Luke Potts, Michael Mavek, Chase Caston, Holden Baldwin, Lincoln Hoover. But likewise, we feel comfortable running the ball with Cole. And I think Cole's played at such a high level. Our offensive line is getting better. Sometimes you feel like you're out of the gate. You want to establish that. And we're able to do those things. Now, we're able to score quickly. So it just happened to be in the script that we were hit some run plays early. But we're going to do whatever it takes to be successful. If that means we got to run the ball a bunch, we're going to do that. If we think like we can throw it a lot, we're going to do that as well.
And Cole Kreiser has some wide holes to run through this season. Would you credit that to schemes and guys knowing who to block, or just straight up stronger than the other guys who push guys up?
But I would consider really all those things. It's the schemes that we put in. It's our offensive line executing them and based on what we install, how we practice during the week, and it's Cole making blocking right by hitting the correct aiming point and allowing the linemen to be successful. And I think we are physically strong up front, which you have to be to win games. And really, it's got to be a combination of everything. When you see success in the football field on Friday nights in the fall, it's a culmination of so many things. It's a culmination of all the work put in the winter, spring, the summer lifting. But then it's also the culmination of all the scheming up you're doing, the practice, the reps, the technique. And you can't be successful running the ball without everybody doing it. It's also Lucas Beatty, making sure that the call is correct, making the proper reads, and then linemen blocking, receivers blocking downfield. It takes everybody to be successful in the run game.
Michael Mavek had 2 touchdowns last week. Good to see him back on the field. When he's not there, what is your offense missing?
Michael had a really good game Friday, but I think the thing that we miss is just his vocal leadership. Now, he was outstanding while he was out, but it's still not the same when you're out and leading as opposed to playing and leading at the same time. I feel like we feel his energy, his attention to detail, his intensity. That even starts in pre-game, early out warm-ups. I felt like there was a different vibe to us being out there, and that has a lot to do with his impact. He is really important to what we're doing. He's a very talented football player, but I would say the thing I've been most impressed by him is his constant vocal leadership and positive manner, trying to lift his teammates up, whether he's been playing, whether he's been injured, whether we're successful or unsuccessful. He's been very constant with how he's led, and been really proud to have him. He's a captain. He's acted exactly like you want a captain to act, and we definitely wouldn't be having the success without him.
In recent history, the Ironmen have been the team to beat in the Big 12. In conference play, do you feel a little extra tenacity or the one to beat you guys? I don't know, more than other teams?
I think typically we're going to get every team's best shot. We won the conference 2 years in a row. We've won a lot of games in a row in the Big 12, and I think that's true in a lot of other sports too. I think they want to beat us in volleyball, they want to beat us in basketball and baseball and wrestling, track, cross country, tennis, golf. I think there's a mindset that everybody has against us. And for us, it's a really big deal because winning the Big 12 is our first goal that we talk about every year. We want to defend our Big 12 championship. We want to win the Big 12. And so, therefore, every game that you play in the Big 12 is extremely important. We know we're going to get teams' best shots. They're excited to play us. We know we're going to see things maybe that we haven't seen before, trying to gain an advantage. And we just got to continue doing what we do and do really well. And hopefully we can keep that trend going.
Looking ahead to Centennial in conference, they've allowed a conference best only 77 points on defense. What makes their defense effective from what you've seen?
A handful of things, not a handful of things, but one, they're multiple. They get in and out of front, so they're the odd front, and then they can also play an even front. They play a multiple variety of coverages in the back end. Their kids are athletic, fast. They get the defensive line gets off the ball. They got guys in the back end that are athletic. They're very well coached. Coach Jackson, their staff, do an outstanding job. And I think they run to the ball really, really well. We're going to have our work cut out for them. We're excited about the challenge, especially them coming here. But they play at a high level on defense. They've always done that for a bunch of years here. So we have to have a really good week of practice, making sure we identify those fronts and identify those different coverages so that we can be successful at what we're trying to do offensively.
Besides what you've been preaching all season, what would you say are your keys to success versus Centennial this week?
I think, keys to success are always going to be for any game is your prep, is your practice week. How do you practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then what's your mindset on Friday going to the game? I think that's going to be first and foremost. Number two, I would say defensively we have to handle. They run a bunch of unique formations that can stress you a little bit defensively. You got to really be locked into the game plan to make sure we're lined up correctly and have the correct calls based on their formation. And then offensively, we have to identify their fronts and be able to execute our run schemes. Realize what the coverages are and execute in the passing game. And then for the special teams, you got to cover kicks, you got to cover punt, you got to cover kickoff, and try to find a way to make plays. And hopefully we'll find ways to do that on Friday.
You talk about some of those unique formations that they run on offense.
So they, and when I say unique, probably seen we haven't seen a bunch of them. Like we'll see a lot of we call singles or trips nubs. So it's three receivers to the field and a attached tight end in the boundary. That provides some challenges of what you can do coverage wise. That's one. They run a full diamond formation where you're with a quarterback and three backs and double tight. So based on your personnel, you have to align correctly that because it adds gaps that you have to defend. And then they do some things, they do doubles and trips and a little bit of empty. They do some good things out of empty. And then they also have like a pro style offense where it's a tight end, a tailback in different positions, and an H-back. And then the other one that they have is on the pro set where it's two H-backs off the ball in the back in different alignments that they have gaps and pull guys. And so we have to be really dialed into what the game plan is, make sure we're aligned correctly, know what gaps are responsible, who we have in the pass game.
Now, with it being homecoming, what does that tradition mean to your players, coaches, and the community?
I think homecoming is always a big deal at any high school, especially during the fall. I think it breeds a lot of different excitement. There's excitement in the building. There's excitement at the game, all the different activities going on. You do tend to see a lot of people come back. I know we have some former players that are on bye weeks this week that are coming back, which would be good to see them. And I think it can be fun, but we can't let it be as homecoming. It can't be a distraction from what we're trying to accomplish. We feel like the most important thing to us is still going to be the game on Friday. It's the most important game because it's the next game. It's a conference game. If we can win this game, that guarantees us a share of the Big 12 title. So it's a lot of things really, really important. Also, if you can win, it probably guarantees you a home playoff game, which is another big thing. So if those things are important, you can't let all the hoopla, the pageantry of homecoming distract you. And I think it's great. I love it all. I think it's really important to the culture of a building and a school and the week. But we're excited to be at home. It's our last regular season home game, and hopefully we'll play really, really well and give ourselves a chance to win at the end.
Yeah, we've seen you guys open up the playbook a lot we saw it against West, we saw it against Bloomington. With 2 regular season games left in the schedule, how complete would you say that playbook is? And is there still some wrinkles that you guys are adding in?
I think so, Andrew. We do game plan meetings on Sunday mornings. So as an offensive staff, we meet from 7 a.m. to about 11 a.m. every Sunday to put our game plan in. And no matter who we're playing, we're always going to put in wrinkles for that week based on things that we think we could be successful. So I think we're always building those wrinkles. Now I'm assuming when you say reach deep in the playbook, we're talking about trick plays and things like that. And we have not ran everything that we have. We're always constantly adding. I think it's fun to do because I think it piques your players' enthusiasm and excitement and energy to have things in the playbook that are outside the normal realm of thinking offensively. Coach Messina does a great job. We practice them really, really well, and our players like to do them. So we're always scheming in wrinkles to give us advantages offensively and defensively, and we still have trick plays. We still have a few things up our sleeve that we have not shown yet.
And heading into postseason, what would be a misconception you'd say other teams might have about your offense or defense, or fans might have?
A misconception? I don't know. I think it's hard to say. Maybe a misconception about how well certain guys are playing. Maybe, I think Murphy Brennan defensively is playing at an extremely high level. It's been really, really fun to watch. Offensively, there's just a lot of guys that are doing roles silently in the dark that not a lot of people see. I think offensively, Lincoln Hoover's having a really nice year at tight end. He's not catching balls, but really important in the run game. Holden Baldwin, too. I still think we're only scratching the surface of what we can do in the passing game. I think getting Chase Caston some touches is going to be really important because of the matchup problems he has. We're not a complete team. We are healthy, which is good. We've got everybody back. Misconceptions, I think we are who we are, what we put on tape. But and then the last I'd say, I still don't think we're not our best version of ourselves yet. And hopefully we keep progressing, get better this week and next weekend, and whatever comes to pass in the postseason. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, you talk a little bit about Lincoln Hoover, Holden Baldwin, guys that maybe aren't catching the most passes, but are still winning Ironman drives. Who are some more contributors that don't get the most attention but are still winning Ironman drives?
Sure, and I think those guys are really important. In our program, and a lot of our programs here have been built on those guys that have been seniors that do a lot of things in the dark that maybe didn't get the opportunities as a sophomore or junior, and then they show up as senior because they bided their time, they worked hard, prepared the right way in the off season. Offensively, Zach Zeman, first-year starter at center, I think has done an outstanding job for us. Brady Wolf at left tackle. Malachi Kinsey has done some nice things as a junior running back for us. Holden Baldwin's been really, really well. Josh Owens, Mitchell Weston, guys on the line have stepped up defensively. I think Brady Carroll and Jalen Smith have been outstanding in the back end and keep getting better every week. Both guys that didn't play in the secondary much for us last year. Clayton Barnes had a nice game here at corner. Colin Kerfoot at hammer. D-line, Kellen, Demarion Gardner have done a really good job. Adrian Ramirez is playing a lot in the D-line at nose. Jamari Rowery's coming along here at the end of the year. So just a lot of guys have kind of stepped up and raised their play, and we feel lucky to have those guys. And Eder Jimenez, Wolf Castro's been out. He's had to kick for us, and he's executed some outside kicks. There's just so many guys that have contributed to our success this year, and hopefully they keep getting better. And everybody sees Cole and Lucas and Luke Potts and Murphy. It's a lot of those other guys that make their jobs, make those plays happen because of things they're doing silently or quietly.
Where would you say that I have the most room for improvement?
I would say in all phases, Brady. I think we still have a lot of room to improve. Offensively, I think we can continue to be more efficient in the passing game and find ways to spread the ball around. Defensively, we have to continue to defend the pass better. I think we do a really good job against the run. And at times when teams have had to go through the air, I think we struggle. I'm the safeties coach, so I got to do a better job with our safeties for sure. And special teams, I'm always going to say we have to cover kickoffs better. It's such a game-changing play. If you return a kick or you give up one, it's a big deal. So I would say all those areas we have to learn.
You mentioned that your guys' goals are still in place. Can you talk a little bit about those goals and where you guys stand on them?
Yeah, so really when we start the year, and this has been true for many years, that our first goal is to either defend or win the Big 12 conference title. And that's really all we talk about. We don't talk about, we hope to make the playoffs and make a run, but we really don't talk much beyond that, because every game that we play is a conference game, so that's most important, so you can win the Big 12. If you can win the Big 12 and take care of those games, then that puts you in a position to be in the playoffs. Our other goals that we talk very generally, and this is true week to week, is just about being the best version of ourselves and getting better every week. I know that's oddly cliche, but that is honestly how we talk every week. We don't look ahead. We don't look beyond an opponent. Our goals right now are to win the Big 12. If we win this week, hopefully, we'll clinch a share, which I don't think our players would want to share a conference title. That puts us in a position to get a home playoff game, all those things. But again, we really only talk about that game and win the Big 12 final. Other than that, and we'll start talking about the playoffs and things like that once we get there.
So, you talk about staying focused on a weekly basis. What would you say are some goals that you're setting, not only in preparation, but the final product on Friday nights?
It's the same almost every week, what we talk about. I'm trying to think about what our presentations are every week. Defensively, it's, eliminating big plays, getting 11 hats to the football. They're general things, also about setting the tone of physicality, not settling into a game and eventually getting physical, but setting the tone physically. Offensively, it's always going to be in there about taking care of the ball, if not turning it over. And special teams, we're always talking about not allowing them to big plays and make big plays in special teams, but then it's, doing it together, being the best version of ourselves. The mantra that we've used for is just put our head down and go to work. Good play happens, be excited about it, go sit on the bench, put your head down, go back to work. Something bad happens, same thing. And then, just going 1-0 and doing it together. Beats it. If I could show you our presentations on our Monday meetings, other than when we talk about the opponent, it's very, 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 very similar. So,
Coach, as always, thank you for your time and insight, and great luck on Friday.
I appreciate you guys. Great job. Thank you.